What's good, good people? Welcome to What's the 410 hashtag my be more. I am your host, Dion Joyner Wings. It's like a tribe called Quest. You got to say it all together. And though I wear many hats, they all sit on top of the same mission to uplift, amplify, and empower Baltimore's truth tellers and change makers. Whether that's through hashtag my Be More project, my book, That Part, What Some Know But Won't Tell You About Motherhood, or as the Chief Energy Officer of Audacity Group, a global marketing shop, we tell bold stories of impact. And in 2022, we learned what you and I already know. People trust people more than they do a system. And that's why we create a space to center the people on the ground doing the work, like Principal Tiffany Johnson of Collington Square Elementary and Middle School, number 97. Let's bring her up, shall we?
Hello.
Let me tell you something about Tiffany. Let me tell you about Principal Johnson here. We are twinning. Hashtag my BMO in the building. It is beautiful to see you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Dub love.
Yep. I got my ring to prove it. So, Tiffany, before we jump into the conversation, I wanted to do a bio. And the bio is more like verbal flowers. So, do you mind if I do my little poem for you?
Yes. Oh, thank you.
Principal Tiffany Johnson is the kind of leader every child deserves and every community prays for. For more than 20 years, she has stood in the gap for Baltimore's young people, beginning as a special education teacher and growing into a principal who leads with both courage and compassion. At Collington Square, she has helped restore something deeper than academics. She's restoring belief in the children, belief in the families, belief in what's possible. She sees her students not for where they are, but for who they are becoming. And she shows up every single day committed to making sure they are seen, supported, and never counted out. Would that be fair?
Yes, Dion. Oh, yes. That is so fair. Yes.
Principal Johnson, I have so much respect for you. Before we jump into the conversation, we like to do a little fun segment to loosen everybody up. And we call that They Ate. All right. Where we ask you 8 rapid fire questions to give people a taste of the personality behind the profession. So we just ask that you don't overthink it and say what comes to your mind. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Crab cake, fried or broiled?
Fried.
Nickname your family or friends used to call you.
Tiff.
Name one song on your get pumped, amp, fired up playlist when you need to get.
Wipe me down. Wipe me down.
East Baltimore in one word.
Community.
Beautiful. Would you survive a zombie apocalypse?
I would.
She said it. I would. A word your students would use to describe you.
Happy.
Is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers? What say you?
No.
Last question. If you had 25 hours in a day, how would you spend that extra hour?
In meditation and deep reflection.
People, I think it is safe to say that Principal Johnson, she ate. We're going to give it up for her. Okay. Now, let's one grounding question before we get into it. Before we go anywhere else, what are you grateful for in this moment?
I am grateful for my family, community, and people just who are like just love. Like those are the things that I'm just so grateful and passionate about. Always being surrounded by family, community, and love. So whether it be the staff, the students, just because I consider my staff and students family, I loop that all in one. Family is something huge for me. So I am grateful for my family.
When you reflect on how you arrived where you are today, what are you most clear about? And then what are you still figuring out?
Um, I am most clear about how I show up. And what I'm still figuring out and trying to navigate is the political space that I find myself in a lot of times in doing this work. So just trying to navigate and figure that out through that lens and still show up 100% without getting too far into, like the roots and the weeds of things. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
just still trying to navigate that space. Sitting in this seat as a principal is very political, and when you are authentic and true to yourself, having that political frame, that was something that I know I struggled with going through my leadership and my admin experience with new leaders. That was
Yes,
always the thing with me because I am really true and authentic
yes.
to who I am. And sometimes politics, it can get a little muddy. Like I'm confident in who I am and how I show up to the world and just into community and spaces. I'm very confident in that.
Thank you
Um,
for taking that even deeper, Principal Johnson. Um,
mhm.
so I want to go backwards before we go forward. So this is more like in your origin and calling. You've started in Baltimore City schools for just looking at when you say over 2 decades. That's saying something. When you look back at the young special education teacher walking into Berkeley for the first time, what was she fighting for?
Um, I didn't know what I was fighting for yet because I came straight from Eastern Shore and Princess Anne, and that was my first teaching, my intern experience. And Princess Anne is so much different than Baltimore City. So I had not had a clue of what it really was that I was hoping and getting. I was just eager to start teaching. I've always wanted to be a teacher. My family members have always told me since the age of 2 and I could talk, I would say that's what I wanted to be. Had all my cousins, older cousins and younger cousins following, listening to me. I was always that one asking the teacher at the end of the school year for paper and the leftover worksheet so I can play school all summer. So I think my passion for teaching, I just wanted to teach. And it felt good to be able to come back home to Baltimore to be able to teach. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to show up and I just wanted to give students my best. So I was not sure of what that challenge would be, but I know it looked definitely different
Yeah.
from my first day. I could tell some experiences about my first day teaching that is funny to me now, but yes, I just was eager to teach and ready to go in with all the knowledge I had, received from you and me. Yes, I was ready. I was eager. I would say that's what it was. I was eager.
So you know what, and pulling from, because stories are what make our lived experience. So when I think about, because we've had conversations that you didn't initially choose it during that time, the early time, you didn't initially choose special education. It felt like it chose you. What
Yes.
did you see in those students that changed the trajectory of your career, and pulling from some of those stories?
Um, I saw the population that I had of students. I was teaching special education students, students with disabilities, who were in a structured class, like a self-contained class. So my class consisted of about 21 students in grade 6, 7, and 8. As their teacher, I was fully responsible for them and teaching them ELA, math, science, and social studies. So I had 3 grades teaching them 4 contents. And me, again, first year
Gee,
teacher, I was 21 years old. So my students weren't too far ahead of me in age. Um, I was there and I saw, I've always been one to think about what is the outcome. So what are my children expected to do? What is it that they are going to be expected to achieve? And it was, the state testing, how we getting them prepared, because I want everybody to, understand a lot of times they don't know. Students with disabilities take the same assessments as students who do not have disabilities.
Principal
Um,
Johnson, you got to go deeper with that, because my mind keeps. I don't think people truly understand the comparison of apple to apples type of situation here.
yes. So Again, state testing, all the students take the same state testing. So if you're in Montgomery County, PG County, Baltimore City, they all take the same state testing. And we have to, make sure that we're preparing them, just getting them ready to learn. And yes, I wanted them to be successful. I had twofold. I needed my students to be successful with life, as well as to be successful and achieve what they needed to accomplish, so they can also meet the mark. Because I strongly believed, I got to know each one of them individually, each one of my 21 students, and I called them my babies. That's how I guarded them. That's how I protected them. They were considered, a lot of times we would hear, the term DEC, which means Department of Exceptional Children. I know in Baltimore and the different nicknames we have for it that I'm not going to say, but to learn what that really meant, we always heard it coming up, but I had a deeper connection with it. Students who had behavior problems, students who, can't learn, putting them all into one class, but they just were looking for community, a loving environment, and somebody to truly listen to them and hear them. And I was that voice for them. I then became their personal advocate, explaining to them and their families what the students were being expected to do, because a lot of families, they don't know in special education. So they think, oh, I want to put my child in a smaller class because they think, it's a smaller class size and they'll do better and they'll perform better. But not understanding the students, if they're going to get a high school diploma, they're still expected to meet those same outcomes. They might get accommodations and modifications, but they still had those same outcomes. So that is what I focused on with my students every day. We had a little bit of, they love to, during that time, I let them choose. So a lot of things that I was doing, I didn't even know I was doing a lot of things that were like had educational terms. I was just doing it because it was best for them.
Yep.
The students who struggle with reading, they struggle with writing, but they liked music and they liked the rap. We would do something called Freestyle Fridays, where I would have them write out their freestyles. Yeah. We turned it into a writing, assignment. They got to perform and do it like they were really into it. And I was always connecting it back to the tests that they had to take for their grade level. So they wound up being successful. The principal at the time was like, what, like, this is the first time we've had a teacher, where we've seen the data move. What are you doing? What are you doing? So Principal that Johnson, would be the passion that I have.
Can I say that even from a young age, and for those that are watching now, to just Google, do an even deeper search of this woman, like at a young age, you could be viewed as innovative. But then there's that term of an advocate. The word advocacy is used so often that, I would like to hear from your lens, what does advocacy actually look like, within a school building, for a student, for a family? What does that look like for you?
So what it looks like for me is really first starting with the student, because I think the student needs to know and understand where they are, like knowing what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and setting goals with them so we can move them forward. So after, we're doing that, also bringing the families in, because so many families, they don't understand, or, they don't know what it actually means or what it looks like. And again, we can take deeper looks into it. A lot of times people might look at, oh, my children are passing or my student is passing, but really sitting down with them and showing them what a diagnostic test looks like. The diagnostic test will let you know what grade level your student is on for reading or for math, and really breaking that down for families so they can understand what that means. But I think first, giving the power to the student. It's never, oh, they're too young. I mean, as early as kindergarten or pre-K, once they get in school, you can start to show them their data, show them where they're performing. Hey, this is where you're reading. This is what this means. This is where we're trying to get you to go, to get them to be excited about learning and them to start wanting to ask about, hey, just teaching them what it means. I was always a big advocate, especially during the high school, my high school career, with really sitting down with students and showing them their IEPs, their individualized education plans, and making sure that they know how to advocate for what it is that they need. If you need extra time, you have it on your IEP. Make sure you're letting your teacher know that, hey, I get extra time. Make sure that your teacher knows, hey, I get this section of my work read to me because I have struggled, with reading. So it has to first start with the kids because we have to empower them to be
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to be advocates for themselves.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I always start with the student first, no matter how young they are.
I'm realizing in speaking to more educators the sense of agency that you give to children now. They're able to speak up for themselves later, but that is actually a skill that has to be taught, and you're doing that. When you think about the parents, the families who trust you with their children every day, what are they carrying that? Because we were just talking about politics. What is it that they're carrying that policymakers don't always see?
Um, Especially my families in the community, like being in the Collington Square community, oftentimes a lot of our families are struggling with housing, food security, safety, um, battling different drug abuse, violence, trauma, a lot of trauma, generational trauma. So that safety and students making sure that they feel safe before we can get to any learning. So a lot of what we do when I notice, like the attendance problems or things like that, I get to know, or we get to know at Collington, our families and try to dig deeper into their situations. So if it's what is going on, asking the families and whatever support we can give them or connect them to those resources so they can feel safe enough to know, like, we will take care of your child while we support you as well with anything that you have going on. No, we can't pay your rent, we can't pay your BGE, but I can find a program to put you in, or somewhere where we can support you, to make sure that we can take that off your plate so you can bring your baby to school. And we're going to take care of the child as well as kind of supporting them. So making sure we keep a fully stocked food pantry every Wednesday. We have a food pantry where families can come and get food so they don't have to worry about food. We send our students home with a weekend backpack. So just really being connected to the community to really find out the resources that we have here to kind of give that to those parents in that community so they don't have to worry about that. So we can educate them too, as well as the child as well.
But it's crazy to me because I'm hearing you say, and we will educate the child, but all of the things that are before we get there, me growing up, housing, food, security, safety, pain, trauma. I'm just expecting school to be ABC 1, 2, 3. What are we missing here? Especially when people start pointing fingers. There's a lot of conversation about failing schools. What do people misunderstand about how schools are evaluated, and what they're really grappling with, specifically in communities like East Baltimore?
Yes. Those are the things that, like when I say I struggle with, we're trying to figure it out. And because of the situation, I'm the type of person, whatever situation that I'm in, I'm going to figure it out and figure it out the best way that I can. But I know um, the importance of that safety and that well-being, that we have to attack that first, way before we can get to academics. So how do we make sure that the child, has ate when they come to school? How have we made sure, they feel safe going home, offering after school programming for those families as well, because we have several families who are trying to work. So whenever we find, we find needs and I connect with community partners. Our school is a later school. So some of our families have asked about, well, I have to be to work. So we start at 9:15. We have some parents that have to be to work at 8 o'clock. I had to be the one, I found a community resource. We connected with one of the churches who, offered before care. But it takes, those going that extra mile, things that are beyond MSDE report card.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are all the things that we're doing within the community, and those community partnerships and connections are so valuable to make a school run. So then that way you're able to get to the academic part, and so you can move the achievement.
Well,
So
let's
yeah.
go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take that further because you're not you're not talking topical. Like you actively bring in artists, elected officials, mentors, storytellers into your school building. From your lived experience, what does meaningful community partnerships actually look like? And how has it helped like to prevent some of that, student or parent disengagement?
Um, Having those the partners that are truly committed, you'll find, and you just and because I've been in at this for a while, I kind of know people who are really involved and really engaging, and some people that just want to, tack on to say that, I'm supporting the school, I'm being there. So I'm very cautious about those type of partnerships.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it must be us, a partnership or two people working together. So how can I help you, but also how can we help and support you? So what does that partnership look like, and how is it ongoing? So how are we also having these touch points? I'm keeping them always involved, having quarterly partner meetings. So partners who are truly invested in Collington Square know what it is that we're doing, presenting to them what our issues are, and we're problem solving together to come up with what that may look like. All the time, it's not looking like them giving us funding or things like that, but sometimes it could just be time. Oh, we're having this back to school night event, or we're having a math night. We're having these things. Do you want to come up? Do you want to set up a table? Because we do something called Resource Row. So we invite our partners to come in and set up resources whenever we're having certain events where we know families are coming. So they're able to share, some of the things that they're offering to our family. So we look at it as an equal partnership where we're also supporting them. I am big on, because again, I am born and raised here. I
Yes,
am
ma'am.
Baltimore, my
Yes, ma'am.
Baltimore.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm always looking at ways in which how can we take a partnership, and I'll just talk about the partnership that we have with the barber and beauty school here in Baltimore. And they have students who need to get hours. We have students who may not come to school because their hair is not done or they don't have haircuts. So we've made a partnership with them where once a month they come in, especially get around holiday time, to do our kids' hair. We have a space, we have like an extra trailer space. We set up the trailer space. It's like a salon, and students can go home with fresh haircuts, hair done before the holiday. To just give them a sense of pride, but that is helping. It's a twofold help.
I
Those
agree.
students who are at the Baltimore Barber and Beauty School, they need those hours, and they also love to give back to the community, which also means our students are. So it's those are the type of partnerships that I'm always looking for. How can we both benefit each other?
It's funny when you say you have your partnerships, and then I think about your programs, and please correct me, but I remember us talking about Wednesdays. I believe Wednesdays being sacred at Collington. Can you explain why are Wednesdays sacred? What is happening there?
So Wednesdays, I know you remember back in the day when we had Dare, drop everything and read.
Oh,
So we do Dare, drop everything and restore. So we are big on restoration, because in the East Baltimore community where we are, it's a lot of trauma, it's a lot of hurt. So how can we restore? So we have Harambe on Wednesdays. It's Swahili, for community and bringing together. We've had people come out, the news has come out, the district has come out to actually record our Harambe celebrations, where that is where we truly show love, respect, and community. It's that getting us over the hump, the middle of the week to get us through. We have 3 pods. So we have our pre-K to 2 pod, we have a 3 through 5 pod, and a 6 through 8th pod. And at 9:45 every morning, so people who want to come and stop in and volunteer, come and see it from 9:45 to 10. We call that Drop Everything and Restore, where we all get into community. The kids have fun. We laugh, we dance, we put on music. We have cheers and chants that we do just to celebrate and get the students and the families excited. I remember what year was that? Like 2 years ago on October the 13th, it was a Wednesday, because we started watching our attendance trends, because that is something that we're definitely struggling with at Collington, is to get our students out of chronic attendance. But the chronic attendance, when we dig deeper and we're talking to the families, it's those issues or those problems that I shared with you.
Yes.
They're having, trouble with whether it be transportation, food, or any of those things. So Wednesday, October 13th, we had all of our elementary students, the whole elementary K through 5 was there one Wednesday. So we looked at like Wednesday is that is the day our students they get so excited on Wednesdays, and I pump them up. I say it's when they say, "Yay, Harambe Wednesday!" So they get so excited. We always close Harambe out with what we call recognitions, where somebody will come in the middle and they'll just give a recognition to someone. Recognitions to teachers, recognitions to friends, recognitions to families. And it's just a great time. Wednesdays is like my favorite day of the week at Collington, because we really just get to uplift one another. The kids get to be free. They get to dance. Middle school's a little rough. You have a few that like to get in the middle and dance, but they love the cheers. They love the chants. And that's just an exciting time for us. So that's Wednesdays.
Principal Johnson, help me. I've got three thoughts coming at once. And it's one, recognizing you can't hear the excitement of the programming and the students' response to it without also recognizing that for every up, like you've increased enrollment, but then when you say that you're struggling with attendance, but attendance sits at the cross section of the housing, the food, the safety, so you're putting yourself like a damned if you do, damned if you don't in this system. Two things can be true at the same time. Then you add things like, oh, people want to do star ratings on top of the work that you're already doing. Can you break it down to me of how people need to understand that there are multiple truths happening in a fractured system?
Yes. Those are the realities, and some of the things that we do have to face, unfortunately. Because again, like when I share and when we look at the star ratings, and again, not to say that students, because we do have schools in Baltimore City that are outstanding and are 5-star rating schools, which are killing it, and the schools that continue to go up in star rating factors. But we have to also take into considerations those conditions, and to know as a state we're all getting the same. It's no different. Like the report card is for the whole state. So Montgomery County, a school in Montgomery County and a school in Collington, we're getting measured the same. So that's
some BS though, and that's Dion saying. Tiffany, principal, the views expressed on hashtag might be more what's the 410 are not the reflection of the guests. But come on.
Yes. Yeah. So it's, that's the state, and that's that political piece, Dion, that I tell you that, I struggle with. Yes, the star rating is very, very important. That is important. But having, like, I had a deep conversation with one of my families who recently, she moved to the village. She has recently moved to the village. So we know where the village is, and then we know where Collington is. She says that she refuses to take her kids out of Collington Square, and she will get up every morning to make sure from Edmondson Village to make sure that her children continue to go to Collington Square because of the environment. Yes. And she's said to me out of her mouth, she said, I don't care about a star rating. I know my children are safe here. I know my children are loved here. And I know the community and the village that you've created here, that I will get up and drive my kids to come to school, even though we just moved to West Baltimore, because of what I've seen the things that you've done here. So that those type of things really warm my heart. And it lets me know, yes, the star ratings, all the things, they are so important. And I'm in, agree if this is the metrics and things that we're using. But a lot of times, just speaking to a lot of the communities, you do have the parents that are more interested in the star ratings than they are, the actual feel in the community of the school.
It's the fact that, like, I know it's like with star ratings, or to know that you may have criteria that you're being held against. Like, let's even say if there was a student disruption and you suspended a student, those types of things can go against a school. Mm-hmm. So that means that a school may determine, I'm not going to do that because I'm not trying to put myself out. You have non-negotiables. Like you seem so clear focused in what is best, not for what's on paper, but what's best for the student. So I'm asking you, is it hard for you to have those type of non-negotiables in what you will tolerate and what you will not, what you accept and will you will not accept?
That goes back to the first question you asked me. I'm authentic and true of myself and know Dion all the time that I am protected and I am covered and I'm always going to do what's right. My grandmother, Dr. Loretta Johnson, a pioneer in the Baltimore City Public Schools, negotiated contracts, has led the Baltimore Teachers Union for over 30 years before she retired and went to American Federation of Teachers and went nationally. She's always instilled that in me. I have been right there by her while she's traveled. I've watched her negotiate different contracts all over the world around education and always standing up for what is right. So I always use my voice in that. And she always told me, she said, if you stand up for what's right and you keep it pure in your heart and keep it centered on the students, you can never go wrong. So yes, that has been something that has came out too, about Collington possibly being on a persistently dangerous list. But I understand and know the formulas and how all of those things are calculated and, what it means. It's so many different nuances and things that go into, different ratings and different things as to how we are perceived. It's not until you actually physically come to the school and come into the community for you to really get a feel and not listen to what the story was. Because that is no longer the story that is at Collington since I've been there for these 3 years.
And that's what I want to ask you. When someone walks into, if you can visually paint the picture for us, when someone walks into Collington today, what feels different from 3 years ago?
The first thing I will say, brightness. I've gotten the school painted. Our school also did not have lockers. I advocated for my school to get lockers. So now our students have lockers for them to put their things in. We've got murals done. I've partnered with Reginald Lewis, the amazing artist. He is one of our huge partners where he's come in and he's added life to the school community. What you will absolutely see is just love and community. I was able to learn about the house system through Ron Clark's Academy and kind of put my own twist and spin to it. When I was a elementary school principal at Utah Marshburn is where I kind of started the house system and I brought it there at Collington Square to bring it to life. So we do a house system there and everything, it goes along with our whole concept. So when you come into our building, what you will see is Eagle Pride. And the pride stands for each letter in pride. So the P stands for us being passionate about learning. And those are our pre-K and kindergarten babies, and they are the Purple House. So they wear on Fridays, they're allowed to wear purple and be out of uniform and represent the Purple House. So all of the teachers who are pre-K and kindergarten, because we have a specialized program in our building now that has pre-K and kindergarten in it for students who are disabled. So we have that section of the group. And then we have respectful to everyone. That's the R in pride. That's our Red House. Those are our first and second graders. And then we have our independent thinkers. Our independent thinkers are our third through fifth grade, and they are the Orange House. And then we have our determined to succeed. That is our middle school for the D, and that is the 6th through 8th, and they are the greenhouse. And then we have our engaged in positive activities, and that is our community. So from the custodial staff, our community partners, our special educators, everybody that touches all of the students, that's our tie-dye house. So you'll see some of the staff members and, we have swag to go along with it. And everybody just takes pride in their houses. And, everybody knows that they are bringing something to the house. We have one big house, but every grade level has to, is contributing to that house. So we say our Eagle Pledge every morning and we say it, in the afternoons, and the students are excited and now have pride. So that's what you'll see if you come into Collington Square, that everybody in the building has pride. And I say it often, Dion, every day is a day. You could pick a day. So Monday when you come, it's Monday swag day because we have hoodies, we have hats, we have jackets, we have everything. So you'll see the staff and the kids in their Collington swag on Mondays. We get excited to see who's going to put together. As you know, I'm a dove to the heart, so we know we're going to say who will put together the best Collington outfit.
Principal Johnson. Received.
So we come and we got socks, we got everything you could think of. The kids are always excited about wearing the best Collington swag. On Tuesdays is college and career days, because I think it's important for us to make sure that we are always exposing our students to post-secondary. They are not going to be in elementary or middle school forever. So I encourage staff to represent. It doesn't even have to be your college, but represent a college or professional dress, because I know we've gotten away from professional dress. So you'll either see our staff members dressed in professional dress or wearing college and career swag. And how again, going back to giving my kids agency, I challenge some of the kids to go up to their teachers. If their teachers have on a college, some type of college shirt, ask them questions about it. And whoever can come back and tell me some facts about what they actually, I'll give them prizes, but just always figuring out ways to get them engaged. One time we had one of our male staff members, he came in a suit and the kids was like, oh my goodness, he has on a suit. Like, and that excited them to finally see their teacher wear a suit. He said, oh, this Tuesday, for college and career, I'm coming dressed up. So, we always make it a day. Wednesday, like I say, that's a run day. That's drop everything and restore, because we are intentional about restoration and what that looks like. And then Thursdays is kindness Thursdays. We call it Thankful Thursday, where we are very intentional, staff and students, about being kind. I feel like, a lot of times we lose the kindness. So we are very intentionally focused on kindness, where a staff member might bring in donuts for the whole staff and say, hey, Thankful Thursday is some donuts in the teacher's lounge, but we're all contributing to the community. The kids, they love to write little notes. So this is also aligned with us doing some writing strategies. And they go around and give little notes to teachers or friends just to show kindness. And then Friday is Fun Friday, all about arts integration. We have an amazing partnership with Arts for Learning. They have been one of my amazing partners. I participated in principal fellowship with them. So we are intentional about what art integration looks like on Fridays. And the kids get excited because teachers then get creative with their lessons and kind of incorporate some type of art in the lessons on Fun Fridays. So we make school, try to make sure that we have something every single day for our students to come and be a part of.
Principal Johnson. I'm sitting here and just know that I respect the seat in which you sit. I am speaking honestly as a citizen who is frustrated. So this is Dion speaking, because as you talk about the programming that you do, the excitement that your staff brings, I also know that you deal with in schools like yours that have astronomical challenges within a system and are going above and beyond to fix it. And people are outside throwing stones without context or story. So I'm really curious about your resilience and how do you keep going when you're already balancing more than you should. Like you should. The fact that you even said that you had to get lockers, and I'm gonna be really honest with you, kind of made me sit back, because I'm like, well, it's a school. Like the fact there are certain things that you just should not have to do. So to know that you're doing it on one foot, balancing it blindfolded, and that people still try to throw stones, I'm trying to understand, how do you keep walking? How do you not fold?
So Dion, I'm a type God. I pray every single day. I take my inspirational vitamin that I am, reading. And on top of that, I will absolutely say the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, changed my life. So that is also something I've instilled it and made in my values, but something that I've also brought into the school community, where we are, number one, impeccable with our words, meaning that we always show up kind, regardless, and we tell the truth. We don't participate in gossip. We don't participate in any negativity. You're just impeccable. I remain impeccable. The second one is don't take things personal. I
Mm.
know as a leader in the seat that I sit in, decisions that I have to make, it's not going to always be for everybody, because a lot of times people don't understand. I have to make decisions for the whole school community. I have to think about the students. I have to think about the staff. I have to think about the community. So sometimes the decisions that I make, some people may not like them or understand them. So I don't take it personal when those stones are being thrown, because I know I'm remaining impeccable and I'm doing what's right by the community and thinking about everybody, not just myself. The third one is don't make assumptions. When I want to know something, Dion, I will shoot an email, I will call someone. I don't make assumptions, and I try to ask people not to make assumptions of me. So if anybody ever wants to know something about me, I
Mm.
always tell them the best person to ask is me. Please don't ask another person. I'm going to give you the best answer. And then the last agreement is always show up as your best, no matter what that best may be. Whenever I walk through the doors of Collington Square, I give them my best. If I know I can't be my best, I will take off and say, hey, I'm sick for the day, or hey, I need a day, because I know the students and the staff deserve my best every time I walk into the door.
Damn. No, because I'm thinking about, is there a machine that we can put you in and multiply you times a million, right? Because even when you talk about your staff, and you can push back when you reflect on things that you would like to improve or to see more of. I know that you can be short staffed, right? So what type of teacher is helps students thrive in the Collington Square space? Like, who should be applying? What makes the best class in your ecosystem? Like, do you have the stat? What makes a perfect teacher thrive in the Collington Square space?
It has to be a teacher that is first interested in connection before content. That's huge for me. How are you connecting with the students before you get to the content? So that's something that we're big on at Collington Square. So before any meeting, I set the tone and I set the example, as we always have a connection before we get into any content. So just being able to connect, us doing a circle. What was your favorite food you ate today? What is your favorite? Like, we have to connect and get to know each other, because that's how we're going to draw students in for learning. So what is that connection? You have to be able to connect with the students. The second thing is accountability and ownership. So if you mess up and you make a mistake, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about it. And how are you going to remember to stay grounded in the full agreements with being impeccable, not taking things personal, not making assumptions, and still showing up as your best self? I am huge on that. So those are the type of teachers that we're looking for. Teachers that are about community, about fun with learning, as well as having those skills to connect. So I always say, and that would be the running joke. You get that often. I hear it often with school leaders, like, oh, don't send that child to the office, they're going to leave out with a bag of chips and some and the juice. Yes, I am her. That is me. Because yes, when my babies come to me, and I'm going to listen, because I give them voice and give them agency, I want to hear what they have to say. So I'm not immediately going to jump on
I
the
hear you.
teachers, on the teacher's response. And some of the things that they say, it's like you might as well give them some chips
After dealing with all
and some juice after you hear them and what they say about what's going on. So I say, okay, so what's going on? I'm tired of doing worksheets. We don't do nothing in it, so then you
I
really
hear
get to
you.
hear what's going on. So then when we have to sit down and have that conversation with the teacher, I need a staff or a staff member to be open to, we're going to listen to what the kids have to say. Because just because we're big adults and we think we're doing all these things, adult actions trigger student actions.
Talk about it.
So when I need people that are open to that, open to getting that open, honest feedback, because I'm a very reflective leader, and I'm open to when things go wrong, I'm always looking at myself. Sometimes, my friends or my colleagues, they say, Principal Johnson, you're putting too much on yourself. It's nothing you could have done differently in that situation. But I always feel like it's something. When we pull the layers back, it was somewhere where I missed a step that I have to take accountability for to try to fix this before we can say it's blame it on someone else.
For if someone is, and I'm winding down because I also know you have babies to tend to. If someone is watching this and they've never stepped foot into your building, what would you want them to know, and what would you ask of them?
Um, I would want them to know, number one, just come and visit. Come visit Collington Square. If you are looking for a school community that you want to, invest in, to come and see thrive, come and visit us at Collington Square. We are amazing school community. The families, the kids, they just deserve so much. They've been through so much. Get to know their stories, and see how you can be of a support in any type of way. We always have something going on. Volunteer in the classroom. Get to know what's really going on, because they are our next doctors, lawyers, probably presidents, like a whole bunch of stuff. How are we really and truly investing in our students' futures to make them the best?
What does rallying behind, okay, so, and I'm trying to be careful because you could say, once I'm done, all of it, Dion, but it's not that. What does rallying behind Collington Square actually look like? Is it enrollment, mentorship, resources, advocacy at the district level? Like, what does support mean in tangible terms?
Yeah, support means how can we get the support needed to really support us with our chronic absenteeism. The enrollment has been increasing tremendously. Like I said, when I started, it was 177 students. We are now at like 283. So the enrollment is steadily rising, but we're still having those big issues with chronic attendance. We're bringing in so many of our partners. We have an amazing partnership with Heart Smiles, Joni. Absolutely. Joni has been, me and Joni, we go way back. She has been one of my closest friends for years. So she has always supported me at every school that I've been in. The heartbeats, they show up, they show out. Joni, since I have been at Collington, we partner with Bloomberg, and they come and they do a coat and cookie drive where every student in my school community receives a cookies and a coat right before they go on winter break. So we have cookie and coat drive. Joni has also, I support her with the heartbeats, with getting them internships where they get to come in and volunteer at the school, do some programming with our students around different activities. So all of those type of partnerships that can come, with us. We have a partnership with the PAL Center, John Hopkins, where they're always coming in, the police, to support. So just really bringing all our thought leaders to the table to see what the needs are, because the chronic absenteeism is starting at home. So we have several of our elementary students who are not coming to school, but they're not responsible for getting themselves to school. Their parents are. So how can we partner with, even city officials to see what are these supports that the families need to make sure that they're getting the students to school? Yes. So I will say that has been our ultimate goal this year. We've been struggling with chronic absenteeism, and us really trying to rely on, because we do the phone calls, we're putting all the different things in place, but we really want to support or need that additional support from whatever outside resources we can to come up with some strategic programming around supporting the families, because that's the lens that I always take it. I don't take it and make assumptions like, oh, they just don't want to send their children to school. They really have deep-rooted issues that are going on that we need support around. I have a family, one of my students who's like taking care of his mom, who's sickly. So he can't come to school as much because of that. But what type of supports, who can we reach out to say, okay, now I have this issue going on in my school. Who can I reach out to say, this is what I know is going on with this family, and this is hindering this child from coming to school. It's not because he wants to be home playing his video games. Number one, When he does come to school, he's worried about his mom's health. That's where his brain is. Did she take her medicine? Or, what is it that, he's trying to worry about her. So he can't even worry about taking a test, or when he's missing because he has to help take her to the doctors. What are some supports, and how can I connect with some people that can help us with, hey, so this baby can come to school? What supports and resources can we give this family?
I was going to end it there, but as you were talking, I'm reflecting on the person that's going to watch the evening news tonight, right? So when you're reliant on what the media is telling you versus being able to experience something firsthand, there's a big gap, there's a big disconnect. If there was a story from one of your students, or a story that gave you the inspiration to keep going, that you could get run on any news media in Baltimore, I mean, just as much as they can plaster anything else, what's a story, a tangible story that you would like to see highlighted?
Jeez, we have so many. Oh my
And
goodness.
do you feel like, because you can even say out loud that I have so many, do you feel like those stories are being shared? Do you feel, are they not sexy? Like, it feels like the sexy stories are pointing at failure. The sexy stories are pain and trauma. But when you speak of what's happening in your hallways, I see joy, I see belief, I see transformation. Where's the gift?
Um, Yes, I know. So we've had, the elected officials come to support our school community with a toy drive. So every student goes home, because not all of our students, different things that we take for granted around just students being able to receive a gift for Christmas. So for the past 3 years, we have done a toy drive, where we've had Antonio Glover, Senator McCray, Muhammad Keys. They all come out. They collectively get together, come out, fill up our whole stage with toys. And Dion, the joy, you can actually look on our social media at some of the kids' faces when they walk into the space and they are able to get not just one toy, but they're also able to, because we really like to push on them. This is the season of giving. They have
Yeah.
to get something for a family member or a friend. So they are able to get two toys. That is something that I think is remarkable, because things that we take for granted. And to have one of my students tell me, one of them got like a dollhouse. She always wanted a Barbie dollhouse. And to make that happen for a student, to take that off of a family's plate who may not know how their child will get a gift, our families are so appreciative of that, and the joy that that brings. So that's something that I can highlight. I can also highlight last year, our SGA was able to go and meet Governor Moore. They were doing advocacy around the transportation issues. So they were able to take a field trip to go and meet Governor Moore to talk about, the issues with transportation, how they affect their commutes, being able to get back and forth to school. And they were able to sit down and have a conversation with them. So those are some of the things that are not being highlighted at Collington, but they are definitely things that are happening and going on.
Which would make sense that you have families willing to travel from West Baltimore to East Baltimore because their child is safe in your arms, in your staff's arms. I'd like to give the floor to you to be able to say anything that, let me just be, okay. We went to so full transparency, we went to high school together. And I'm known from speaking truly from the heart. So it can come out any number of ways. It's the fact that you authentically give a shit. Like, you wake up, life be lifing for everyone. You are a mother as well. Like, you have your own life. And what I have seen you do over these 20 some odd years is so selfless. So to see you take your power of storytelling, because you refuse to allow anyone to hold your narrative or your student's narrative, I admire that. But I have to be honest, it also breaks my heart because you don't have the time. I know that you're doing it, and I know that you will. But what I'm saying is that you're shouldering more than you should, and you're out here actively. And you can correct me, because I don't believe you're trying to prove anything.
Mm-mm. This is hard work. I do this from the heart, Dion. My love for children, my love for Baltimore is why I do this. Why I get up every morning and do what I do. It's heart. This is hard work. That's the only way I'm able to get up and do this, and seeing their faces and seeing them excited about coming to school, seeing the students that we were able to, to see a student go from chronically absent to being in 90% or higher absenteeism. Those are the reasons why I get up every single day. Those are the reasons why, I'm excited talking to, because it's several, parents who are taking that commute and taking that drive, because we're in an area that does not have a lot of homes. It's a lot of boarded up homes. And just to even think about the community and the area that our students have, the ones who have to walk through. And when you think about some other areas in the city, of their walk and their commute to school, it looks different.
Totally different.
So just how are we, just taking all of those different things into account. So I'm excited when I see my babies. I stand at the front every morning. Good morning, good morning. Sometimes on Fridays I put skates on, and they like that. So I'll have my skates on for Fun Friday, standing at the front, and I dressed up for Halloween. I get into all of the things because I'm the theme queen now. So I was a bag of hot Cheetos. You can see that on the Instagram too. For Halloween, I was a bag of hot Cheetos, and they love that. So I'm going to connect with them. So it's that joy that I see of what we have been able to create at Collington over these 3 years. Yeah.
Tell people how they can follow you to keep up with your story, website, newsletters, financials. Like what can we do? Talk to the community.
Yes. So you can absolutely follow our Instagram at Collington Square EMS is our Instagram, as well as Principal Johnson 97. It's pretty much the same things go on. But if you want to just see and learn more about our story, those would be the two channels that, kind of reach out to us, shoot us a DM, and we will we'll get right back. So we use Instagram for the most part.
On behalf of #MyBeMore, thank you so much for your time. This will not be the last conversation, but it was so powerful. I'm proud of you and inspired by you.
Thank you, Dion. I'm proud of you as well.
With that, this is #MyBeMore. What's the 410? It has been a pleasure. Peace. We're out.
I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. Even if it means you gotta leave me, and you don't wanna be baby. Look, baby, I'm straight. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great. I just want you to be great.